Thank you very much. I will now welcome Eric de Haas, who is Company Secretary to the AIBC and was National President of AIBC between 2003 to 2006, I believe. Eric, welcome.
Great, thanks, Sam. Brings back memories of the election for President of AIBC the day before the Bali bombings. That was a great introduction to the role, but I'm glad to see things have moved on since then. Okay, thank you all for joining us this afternoon for this final session of the conference before we move on to the networking reception next door. The panel session has become a bit of a tradition for IABC and AIBC conferences over recent years. It's an opportunity to summarise and bring together the outcomes of the conference sessions, and also importantly to hear from our ambassadors and also the heads of AIBC and IABC. It's important to hear their thoughts on what has been achieved in business relations between our two countries, and more importantly where we're heading over years to come. It's also your chance to ask questions that you may have been pondering over and to get some frank and candid responses. Now, this session is being recorded. There's audio and visual recording, and as Lydia mentioned this morning, this will be made available in a couple of weeks' time on the AIBC website. Now, this afternoon's panel session will include Danny Burrows. He's been coordinating the breakout sessions this afternoon, and he'll provide a summary of those sessions. We're also fortunate to have both ambassadors with us this afternoon. His Excellency Pa Primo Alui Yulianto, Indonesia's Ambassador to Australia, and His Excellency Mr. Greg Moriarty, Australia's Ambassador to Indonesia, and of course our two Presidents of the Business Councils, Pa Este Darmono, President of the IABC, and Chris Barnes, President of the AIBC. Now, I'll introduce each of the speakers in more detail later on. Now, each speaker will speak for their allotted time, and then together with the other panellists we'll be available for discussions and questions, so please save your questions till then. Now we hope to have about 10 to 15 minutes for questions at the end. We're running a little bit late, but we'll try and make up for that during the sessions. Okay, so our first speaker then is going to be Danny. And for such a young fella, he's got an impressive resume. Danny studied law at Monash University in Melbourne and worked with a local solicitor in Melbourne for a couple of years before he moved on to London in the UK from 2003, working with a firm there called White & Case. And he focused on energy, infrastructure and project finance. While he was there, he also went to the London School of Economics and obtained his MSc in international political economy and also in international trade, international political economy and economic diplomacy. Now, having obtained those illustrious qualifications, he left the legal profession and came back and joined DFAT here in Australia from 2007 to 2010. His role was as trade negotiator and Southeast Asia regional specialist. So he's been involved in a lot of the trade negotiations over the recent years. He's become a specialist in Asia-Pacific regional architecture. Right, now last year he left DFAT and he's formed his own business, Tradeworthy Consulting. He's the founder and director of that firm. And he's assisting industry in extracting the maximum value from international trade and investment, and also assisting governments in international trade and investment. Recently, Danny was appointed by the AIBC as the convener of our committee on the Indonesia-Australia Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Please welcome Danny.